Hey, welcome to World Code Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. The world's attention is quietly fixed on a remote corner of the Pacific, where the day begins like any other, but the air is thick with anticipation. The sun rises over the West Philippine Sea, painting the sky in hues of gold and orange. But beneath the beauty, the atmosphere is heavy, charged with humidity, and with tension that seems to seep into every wave and cloud. On the narrow airstrip of Pagasa Island, a Philippine Coast Guard plane sits ready for its daily patrol. It's a routine that's become anything but ordinary. Each morning, the crew prepares with a sense of purpose, knowing that their flight is more than just a mission, it's a message. The crew moves with practiced efficiency, but their eyes are always scanning the horizon. They know that every takeoff is watched, every maneuver scrutinized by rival ships lurking in the distance. This is contested territory, and every flight is a statement of sovereignty. As the plane lifts off and climbs into the morning sky, the South China Sea stretches out below, its turquoise waters and scattered reefs belying the dangers that lie beneath. The view is breathtaking, but the stakes are deadly serious. Suddenly the radio crackles to life, shattering the calm. A stern voice cuts through the static. "You are approaching a Chinese military alert zone, leave immediately." The warning is clear, and the threat unmistakable. The Filipino pilot, steady and resolute, responds without hesitation. He asserts their right to patrol these waters that have been home to generations of Filipinos. His voice is calm, but beneath it lies a quiet defiance. This radio standoff is a daily ritual, words exchanged at 10,000 feet, echoing the larger struggle for control that plays out across the region. Each exchange is a reminder that the battle for these waters is fought not just with ships and planes, but with voices and resolve. Far below, the tension is mirrored on the water. A Chinese Coast Guard cutter shadows Filipino fishing boats, its presence a constant reminder of the power imbalance. More Chinese vessels form a distant blockade, hemming in the local fishermen and asserting their own claim. No shots are fired, but the message is unmistakable. This is a front line, where presence is power, and every move is a calculated risk. The Coast Guard crew watches through binoculars, alert to any sign of escalation. The patrol circles above, snapping photos and recording every detail. These images are more than just evidence for Manila. They are proof for the world, documentation of a daily struggle that rarely makes headlines but never truly stops. Each image, each radio log adds another layer to the story, a story of a small nation standing up to a superpower, determined to defend its rights and its people, no matter the odds. The flight ends as quietly as it began. The plane touches down on Pagasa's lonely runway, and the crew steps out into the fading light. But the tension doesn't fade with the sunset. It lingers, heavy and unresolved. On Pagasa, and in distant capitals from Washington to Beijing, everyone knows that one day, a routine patrol could become the spark that ignites something far bigger. The world's media watches, analysts debate, and leaders weigh their next moves. The stakes are high and the world is watching closely. Every incident, every encounter, is dissected and discussed by a global audience that understands just how quickly the balance can shift. For now, the island holds its breath, caught between hope and uncertainty, as another day of tension gives way to another uneasy night. Pagasa Island, known internationally as Thitu, is not your typical tropical paradise. Its windswept shores and modest cluster of buildings might seem unremarkable at first glance, but the island's true value is immense, both strategically and symbolically. Covering just 37 hectares, Pagasa is the only island in the Spratlys with a permanent Filipino civilian community. This small but vibrant population transforms the island from a mere outpost into a living, breathing symbol of Philippine sovereignty. Children play on the sand, families tend to their homes, and daily life unfolds against a backdrop of geopolitical tension. The island's deep lagoon and its rugged, weather-beaten airstrip are more than just features. They are lifelines. These allow aircraft and boats to reach Pagasa, making it a vital outpost hundreds of kilometers from the Philippine mainland. Supplies, personnel, and hope all arrive via these routes, sustaining the community and the country's claim. From this remote patch of land, the Philippines can resupply its forces, rotate military and civilian personnel, and maintain a visible, active presence deep within the contested waters of the South China Sea. The collaboration between soldiers and civilians here is a daily reminder of the island's dual role as both a military outpost and a home. Pagasa's location is no accident. It sits astride some of the world's busiest shipping lanes, serving as a permanent observation post in a region marked by uncertainty and competing claims. From its shores, the movement of ships and the pulse of international trade are closely watched. The island is also the administrative heart of Calayan, a municipality established specifically to govern the Philippine-claimed areas of the Spratlys. Here, the Philippine flag flies proudly, and local governance is a daily act of asserting national presence. Pagasa is more than a military base, it's a real town. There's a school where children learn about their country and the world, a town hall where decisions are made, and sandy streets where neighbors greet each other. Life here is simple, but it is also resilient and determined. The presence of civilians reframes the entire dispute. This is not just a place for soldiers or officials, it's a community where ordinary Filipinos live, work, and raise their families on contested ground. Their daily routines, celebrations, and struggles are a quiet but powerful assertion of the Philippines' claim. Pagasa stands as the Philippines' living claim in the Spratlys, a testament to history, international law, and the enduring resilience of its people. The weathered flag, the old photographs, and the stories of settlers all speak to a legacy of determination. Here, sovereignty is not just declared in words or documents, it is lived every day, in every home, classroom, and gathering under the Philippine flag. On Pagasa, the nation's presence is as real and enduring as the island itself. The fight for Pagasa is about more than flags, it's about resources. The South China Sea is a global artery. A third of maritime trade, worth trillions, passes through these waters. Beneath the waves lie billions of barrels of oil and trillions of cubic feet of natural gas, energy that could transform economies. The sea is also a lifeline for millions. Over 10% of the world's fish catch comes from here. For Filipino fishermen, these waters mean food and survival. As fish stocks dwindle elsewhere, the Spratlys' abundance becomes even more precious and contested. Control here means economic security, energy independence, and a future for generations. For the Philippines, defending Pagasa is defending livelihoods, not just lines on a map. The struggle is real, immediate, and vital. Pagasa's fate is tangled in a web of overlapping claims. The Philippines bases its claim on discovery and occupation, formalized in the 1970s. China's sweeping 9-line claim covers nearly the entire sea, citing ancient records. Vietnam, too, claims the Spratlys, citing centuries of administration and occupation. Taiwan mirrors China's claim, while Malaysia and Brunei assert rights to southern features. Each move by one nation ripples through the rest, making compromise elusive. In this crowded sea, every claim is a challenge and a potential flashpoint. To bring order, the world created UNCLOS, the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. It grants coastal states a 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, for resources. The Philippines used UNCLOS to challenge China's vast claims, winning a landmark 2016 ruling at The Hague. The tribunal invalidated China's 9-line and affirmed the Philippines' rights around Pagasa. But China rejected the ruling, doubling down on its activities and ignoring international law. The dispute shifted from legal arguments to raw power plays. The Philippines holds a legal victory. China wields economic and military might. The question remains, can law stand up to force in the South China Sea? Unlike other outposts in the South China Sea, Pagasa Island is unique because it is not just a military installation. It is a true home to Filipino families. Here you'll find parents, children, and grandparents living side by side, building lives in a place where most would expect only soldiers and outposts. The presence of real families gives Pagasa a warmth and authenticity that sets it apart from the fortified, often deserted islands nearby. The town of Calayan, which means freedom in Filipino, is more than just a name. It has its own mayor, a functioning school where children learn and dream, and a health clinic that serves as a lifeline for the community. These institutions are not just symbols, they are proof of civilian life thriving at the very edge of the Philippine nation, far from the mainland but deeply connected to it. On sandy streets, children's laughter echoes as they play games and ride their bikes, while supply ships arrive periodically, bringing much-needed food, fuel, and other essentials. Despite the challenges of distance and isolation, the people of Pagasa have built a tight-knit community, supporting each other and facing hardships together with remarkable resilience and hope. Life here is far from easy. Store shelves are often bare, internet connections are painfully slow, and water is rationed carefully, with every drop counted. Yet, these daily struggles have forged a spirit of endurance and adaptability among the residents, who find creative ways to make do and keep their community going. But the presence of civilians on Pagasa is not just about survival. It is a deliberate and strategic act. Under international law, the existence of a real functioning community strengthens the Philippines' claim to the island, making it clear that this is not just a military outpost, but a living, breathing part of the nation. Recognizing the importance of this civilian presence, the Philippine government continues to invest in Pagasa. New facilities are being built, infrastructure is slowly improving, and families are encouraged to settle here, reinforcing the country's commitment to the island's future. The laughter of children, the sight of families raising the Philippine flag, and the everyday routines of island life are as powerful as any warship or military patrol. These moments put a human face on the concept of sovereignty, showing the world that this land is truly lived on and cared for. The residents of Pagasa are pioneers in every sense. Their daily lives are a testament to the Philippines' governance and stewardship of this contested land, proving that the nation does not merely occupy the island, but truly inhabits and nurtures it. In contrast to the militarized artificial islands built by other claimants, Pagasa's peaceful community offers a different answer, one rooted in daily life, family, and hope for the future. Here, sovereignty is not just asserted through words or force, it is lived every day in every home under the watchful gaze of the Philippine flag. Around Pagasa, conflict takes a new form. A gray zone war fought without bullets. China's Coast Guard and maritime militia use intimidation, shadowing Filipino ships and blocking resupply missions. Water cannons, dangerous maneuvers, and swarms of fishing vessels create constant pressure. These tactics stop short of open war, but steadily erode Philippine control. The so-called cabbage strategy surrounds islands with layers of ships, isolating them. For the Philippines, every response is a dilemma: pushback and risk escalation or yield ground. The Coast Guard and Navy play a daily game of cat and mouse, documenting harassment and standing firm. It's a war of nerves, not firepower, a test of endurance and resolve. The battle for Pagasa is fought in the shadows every day. Here, sovereignty is measured in presence, patience, and will. The struggle for Pagasa has a human and ecological toll. Filipino fishermen, once free to roam these waters, now face harassment, cut nets, and shrinking catches. Fear and poverty grow as foreign ships push them back, threatening their way of life. This pressure is strategic, undermining the Philippines' connection to the sea and its claim. Meanwhile, the environment suffers. China's island building has destroyed thousands of acres of coral reefs, vital to marine life. Scientists call it an ecological disaster with long-term consequences for food security. The destruction isn't just collateral, it's a weapon, altering the very features under dispute. As reefs die, fish vanish, and communities suffer. The fight for Pagasa is also a fight to save a fragile ecosystem. The stakes are not just political, they're personal and planetary. The Philippines hasn't faced this challenge alone. Its mutual defense treaty with the United States is the backbone of its security, now explicitly covering the South China Sea. Joint patrols, military exercises, and base access agreements have deepened the alliance. Manila has also built ties with Japan, Australia, Canada, and European nations, creating a web of support. These partners conduct freedom of navigation operations, train together, and share intelligence. By internationalizing the dispute, the Philippines reframes it as a test of global rules, not just a local quarrel. The world's response to Pagasa will show whether law or might rules the seas. The island's fate may decide the future of the region, and the principle of right over power